successful club series this morning. That would be us. This will complete his requirements for the Advanced Leader Bronze Award. Mentoring is a critical in life, work, and Toastmasters. It is more than just answering occasional questions. It is an ongoing relationship of learning, dialogue, and challenge. We can probably name people who have had a profound positive effect on our lives, even if they were not called mentors. That was the role they filled. Thomas will speak about our mentorship program and how it helps us reach the next level. Thomas, you're up.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Have you ever had a mentor?
Yes.
I think everybody's had a mentor. They probably weren't called mentors. They've been called teachers, helpers, not helpers, coaches, so on and so forth. I remember my first mentor was actually my band director. When we went from elementary school, which was just a few years ago, of course. When we went from elementary school to junior high school, we went to a big program at the junior high school, the band play. Thank you. And I thought, I want to do that, and I want to play trumpet. So I put up a little piece of paper, gave it to whoever took the papers. And then that summer, I got a phone call from Mr. Champagne. He didn't call for my mom, he called for me. And I think that's the first time an adult called for me. He said, Thomas. He said, Tommy, do you want to play the band? I said, no, I don't. He said, why not? I said, because I'm afraid to do that. I didn't want to take that risk. Well, he talked me into it. And so I played the trumpet for 6 years, and I'm so glad that happened, because I got into some trouble, but I stayed out of a lot of trouble by being in the band and having a group to associate with. I wasn't just out there on my own. Now that group had its issues as well, but not as many as the other people. Another mentor that I had was a guy named Frank when I went to FSU and was part of the group. He was not called a mentor either, but he was my mentor. And now we've known each other. That was in 1979, not very long ago either, in the big scheme of things. And I just found out last weekend that he's getting married again. I tried to talk him out of it, he won't listen to me. I tried to talk him out of it, but I said, when are you going to get married? He said, well, sometime in October, up in Tallahassee. I said, well, I'm going to Denver on the 18th, 19th, and 20th, so you can't get married that weekend. So I said, just plan your wedding around me and everything will be just fine, because you are my friend. And truly, Frank, to this day, 34 years later, is still a very, very good friend. Now, I listened to Jeremy's speech on mentoring that he had done in January or so, whenever it was, and he actually started the mentoring program for us. Before that, we didn't have a mentoring program. When I started a year and a half ago, my mentor, if you will, was Mitch Phillips. Now, he did something really stupid. He got a job, so he can't be here anymore. Anyway, so Mitch was my mentor, but not really called a mentor because we didn't have a mentoring program. But now we do the Club of Jeremy. So lifting up Jeremy on that. Matter of fact, when you become a member, you will get a tap on the shoulder from Jeremy, and he will try and hook you up with someone in a proper way, of course. He will try and hook you up with a mentor for your growth. So, all the things you can find on the internet, mentoring matters. Mentoring matters. Don't you know now? So what does a good mentor do? We're going to talk about good mentors and bad mentors for just a little bit here. Well, a good mentor takes a personal interest in your growth. Now, we've all had good mentors and not so good mentors. A bad mentor has a check-the-box mentality. But a good mentor would take a personal interest in your growth and would help you. He's going to serve as a role model. He or she will serve as a role model for you to follow. Now, sometimes we have mentors that we don't want to follow. It's do as I say, not as I do. That's not a good mentor. That would be on the other side. We have good mentor, personal interest, bad mentor, check the box. Good mentor sets a good example. Bad mentors do as I say, not as I do. Also offers knowledge, perspective, and insight. Now, when you first start doing something, you don't really know what you're doing. I remember when I first started work, I started with a CPA firm, and you would think they would have had mentors, but I suppose what they were thinking back then was, well, you have a degree, you have 2 degrees, and you pass the CPA exam, so you must know what you're doing. Nothing could have been farther from the truth. If you're just in school, you don't really, you know the basics, but you don't really know. So it would be good, it would have been good in that situation to have somebody to offer perspective of how things work in the real world and give insights into how things work and help you to be successful. Okay, so not only that, but with good mentors, it's a two-way street. I love that bell. We're going to talk about loving the bell as well. It's a two-way street. So if I'm a mentor or a mentee, both of us are going to be helped. I'm going to grow, and the other person is going to grow as well. So, as Ben Franklin said, you know Uncle Ben?
Yes.
Well, not that Uncle Ben, not the Uncle Ben with the rice. Ben Franklin said, "Tell me and I forget. Teach me, I may remember. Involve me, and I learn." So that's really what mentoring is all about as well. Now, let's talk about specifically mentoring in Toastmasters. You remember the first time you came to Toastmasters? And this was happening, and that was happening, and this person did this, and everybody shook hands, and blah, blah, blah. And you were like, what's this all about? That's why you need a mentor, one of the many reasons. It's going to help you ease the transition into Toastmasters. It's overwhelming at first. You have to know about the programs. I think many people today brought their CC manual, okay, because Gary said so. But you have to know what the steps are to get through the CC manual, and then to know the steps to get through the CL manual, and then to know what you do after that. Do you just stop? Obviously you don't stop. You keep doing other things as well. You learn all about the club standards and customs. Why do we do this and why do we do that? When you look at the back of this, remember the first time you were here. And we had an awe counter. Now Kitty was very nice. She said, "Please ding me." And I'm saying, "Please ding me," only because I know it's the right thing to say. I don't really want you to, but I know it's the right thing to say. But you wonder at first, why do we have an awe counter? Because we so often do things without knowing it, and it's a good, as I call it, friendly reminder. And it also helps the soccer ball as well, being a treasure. But it's a good thing to have. And I remember listening, I teach for a CPA review course, and one of our guys, he's in Miami, but a great reputation, and he was doing a seminar, or webinar, I suppose. So I was listening to him. Now this guy is very highly rated. And all I kept hearing was ums and ahs and you knows and wells, and I'm like, this guy has not been to Matter of fact, I thought when I came, I'm like, I've been teaching this class, I'm not afraid to stand up in 100 people, 200 people, I've done that before, it's not a big deal. So that wasn't a big hurdle for me, it is for a lot of people. But what I learned is, I had about 23 years of bad habits. So that's why we have an odd counter. The grammarian, with our word of the day, hack-a-turn, which we will not be. Knock, 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 I see another custom, why do we do that? Is to acknowledge someone used the word of the day. So the first time that you're a grammarian, what do you do besides panic? Okay, you're like, I don't even know, I know like 12 words. All the words I know. So you go to the library, we all go to the library, right?
Yes.
And we get a dictionary, you know what that is. And we just open it, and so our first word of the day is what? Aardvark. Because it's the first word in the dictionary, and somehow it's going to relate to what we're doing. It would be helpful to have someone guide us to a better word than aardvark, and exactly why do we have the word of the day to expand our speech. And then we have the timer. The timer obviously keeps time. But you remember the first time you were the timer? And you just couldn't figure out how to make the little timer thing work, we need a mentor for that, a helper. And the last one, well, not the last one, the vote counter. Obviously, most of us know how to add. That's one of my weaknesses being a CPA. Evaluators. Why are we evaluated? Well, so we can improve. And sometimes, not all of these gals, sometimes you're a little shy and you don't want to be mean. Well, you need to learn, I was going to say, not applicable today. But sometimes you just don't want to be mean, so you don't give the kind of evaluation you should. Table Topics Master. The first time you're called to be Table Topics Master, you just don't know what to do. Now, to you visitors, when you come to Toastmasters, you might be called on for table topics. And you're petrified. And the good thing is, you'll probably come back. You ask yourself, why did I come back after being abused like that? And then, of course, the big role, Mr. Jim, the self-proclaimed master of disaster. That did not come from me. But when you're first called on to be a Toastmaster, you are really scared. Like, I'm the center of the show, what do I do? And then once you've done it a couple of times, it's like, well, I'm really just a coordinator, it's not about me. I want it to be about me. It's really not about me. Oh, wow.
That's cool.
That is cool. Okay. Now, so we have a mentoring program. So we have a structure. I found this. This is a really nice structure. It's in German. So if anyone knows German, tell me what it says. If anybody knows German, you can tell me what it says. I thought it looks really, really good. So what are some of the good qualities of a mentor? Well, one, very good one you probably wouldn't think about, they're good listeners and they're very patient. A lot of other qualities. And good mentees, they ask questions and they're eager learners. So those are some of the qualities. There are many, many more. Now, it is a finite relationship. It doesn't go on forever. Frank and I, we've known each other since 1979. Our relationship is different. It's no longer mentor-mentee or whatever it was called back then. It's not like that. Now we're just friends. This was very interesting. So these are some people talking, and it says, Tom, how appropriate. Mentoring is about more than encouraging people to be just like you. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about people surpassing me. That's really what mentoring is all about. It's not becoming like me, it's surpassing me. So, get a mentor because it